There are things I need of you, things you may not understand, and may not wish to do, but please do not make the same mistakes I did. My father, Howard, deserted me before I was born. I could claim the loss of my mother, and the letter I received after her funeral blinded me to do what I had to. It would be a lie. Human nature sealed my downfall. My name is Philip. If we are lucky, then by the time you receive this, I will be dead. If fate frowns, we all perish. Frictional Games. Penumbra Overture, Episode 1. Well, welcome to another gameplay and review video. This is Penumbra Overture by Frictional Games. It is the first of a trilogy of games which I will be reviewing all three. And this is sort of a horror/adventure game. It's a pretty good one. I've been playing this for many years, ever since I was young, so I'm going to be reviewing it. Let's start a new game. My story began in February, year 2000.
For my part in this allegory, I'm not going to make the same mistakes my father made. Howard vanished from my mother's life before I was even in it, so when he sent me a letter a few days after Mum's funeral, it was the first I'd ever heard from him. Pity he was dead. Writing from beyond the grave must be a genetic habit in my bloodline. His letter contained a key, instructions, pleas for forgiveness. I figured the dead don't have much use for absolution, so I turned to his prophetic passing, which he inexplicably expected to come any day. Clearly averse to explanations, my father preferred to leave directions to a bank on Mayfair I'd never even heard of. In that bank was a safety deposit box in his name, and myself as executor. Of course, I went, as he knew I would. I discovered that despite the evidence, he'd been legally declared dead almost 30 years ago, and so the old book and collection of notes I found had, in the eyes of the law, been mine all this time. My father's instructions were to burn the documents, raise no further questions. But that was his error. No man's immune to the shameful trappings of curiosity, and my humanity got the better of me. The university I taught at was world renowned for two things: physics and linguistics. I represented the first, and the man who stood for the second was stumped by my recent acquisition. The book was indecipherable. The notes, however, showed a location somewhere in uninhabited northern Greenland. It took me almost a year to book the last flight I'd ever take. As I watched civilization disappear along with Heathrow, I realised my father had disappeared 3 decades ago, almost to the day, and I considered in turn what it was that I was leaving behind. We landed on a strip of ice a few feet wide, and within minutes I was pulling away on a chartered boat, beginning the 12-hour journey that would lead me into my past.
Finally, we're almost docked. I better stow my gear. I may be far from home, but chances are I can still pick things up using left mouse. I can take a closer look at things using right mouse. I'm certain this map's a good decade or so out of date, but landmarks don't change much in Greenland, so I've got a pretty decent idea of where I'm heading. Let's see. Pretty odorous. Glad I'm getting out of here soon. They must eat and sleep and well do everything else in this one room. A photo of the fisherman's wife. She's no Playboy bunny. She looks that damn kind. Playboy poster. It's nice some things don't change no matter how far you are from home. Oh, here? Perhaps I should leave the fisherman in privacy. Dearest Eric, just a quick note before you set sail and leave me once again. I've left you a little something to remember me by in the chest at the foot of your bed. I really don't know why you still only have one bed on board, taking shifts because of it, no way to get you a rest. But what does a fisherman's wife know of life at sea? I'll be praying every night for you to make the catch you need, so that you can come home to me safely, and soon. Please don't be gone for 5 weeks like last time. I know I might nag sometimes, but I do love you, you know. I've washed these overalls of yours. I know you'll get them covered in assorted fish parts in no time, but I still feel better knowing that they've had a wash. Before I forget, the Henriksons in the village have asked me to see if you'll be coming by any trout, but I said they were mostly out of season. If you do happen upon any, don't say anything. Stow them well in the ice, and I'll do something special with them to celebrate when you come home to me. The ship's captain deserves a little special treatment once in a while. Take care, my love. And then this is always good to have a notebook to write, to jot down interesting information and reminders. I think I left my torch in the desk drawer next to the bed. It can be opened using my left mouse on it, holding the button down and moving the mouse. Good thing I remembered to bring a flashlight. Shame it's so old it drains a couple batteries an hour. The flashlight switches on and off by the inventory tab, or hopefully with the shortcut key F. Now, where's that emergency glow stick? Should be in the locker. Keys to my inventory tab. Good thing I have my torch at hand. This state. Could come in handy if the torch runs out of batteries. I should be able to access it through my inventory with the shortcut. Some extra batteries to power my flashlight. Yeah, the batteries, you have to find batteries around the place in the game, and you can only leave the flashlight on for so long it runs out. Okay, I think we're ready to go. Here we go. As I stepped off the boat, setting out into the blizzard that had formed around me, I realized how utterly devoted I'd been to the discovery of my father's past. I had no idea what to expect. Soon enough, my concerns were justified. I don't know whether I lost my orientation or my spirit first, but I lost feeling in my extremities soon after. I knew hypothermia was setting in. I started looking for shelter. So cold. Don't know where I am. Need shelter soon. My entire head went numb a long time ago, but I can still hear the wind blowing past. Let's pick up one of these. Might need this later. Watch the batteries so I don't. heavy-looking wooden barrel. Could be anything inside it. This wooden shelf slowly falling apart. Old as they are, they wouldn't pull off with my bare hands. This hole's been boarded up a long time ago. The wood looks pretty soft now. Ah, here it is. Let's see, I can swing this hammer if I hold the left mouse button. I can make a back swing by pulling the mouse right and then follow through by pushing left. The opposite works too. Pulling back and then thrusting forward produces a stabbing motion. I reckon if I hold down right mouse after the back swing, I should be able to look around. Here we go, number 2. That's number 3. Okay, number 2. This hatch is seriously solid. It won't open by hand. Someone obviously wanted to keep people out. Or in. No wonder I couldn't open the door. This looks like some sort of industrial mechanism, although there's a hole in the center and no way to open it. I need to find some way to open it. Oh, there you go. Another flare. Ah. Yeah. Whatever I was descending into, it was 100 feet below ground, protected by 2 solid metal hatches, located in a remote Arctic wilderness and buried beneath the snow. I didn't know what to expect, but it made me feel something I hadn't felt since I was a child. I'd never given it much thought before, but I realized that our entire society is a network of safety nets. Emergency services at the end of a phone line, health and safety in a workplace. Friends, family, lovers, all there. If something goes wrong, part of the carefully designed structure to prevent all but the most mundane of emotions. Once again, I felt like I did when I was in school, surrounded by a closing ring of older kids. Knowing anyone that might help me, friends, parents, teachers, were too scared or too far away. There could be anything living down here. Heroics are for Hollywood actors and fairy tales. I'm not taking any chances. If I face off against anything down here, I won't last a second. Caution and stealth are my only defenses now. If anyone or anything hears me, I'd be best off staying low and out of sight until I know whether or not it's a threat. Crouching by pressing left control will give me the chance to hide in the shadows. I know I've got it right because of the blue tint in my vision. Plus, I should be quiet enough that I won't be heard unless something's right on top of me. Better remember to shut off any light source though. Okay, we're right here, so... Like that, I'll be virtually invisible, and after some time I should get my night vision back. This is the office. This typewriter dates back even further than the war. Made in Germany, 1923. Am I gonna go look through all of these? Beef jerky to snack on later. Painkillers? It's locked, I need a key. Rotting wooden shelves. Must be the added moisture from that grate. This whole room is putrefying. So much history in this place, tied up in words and left to decompose. The text on these pages is illegible. Years of damp and cold have dissolved its meaning forever. There's the key. Copenhagen Post, Monday, the 17th day of August 1930. Psychotropic deposits at the bottom of Death Mine. Researchers at the University of Copenhagen have suggested that mind-altering chemicals naturally sown into the rock may be the cause of high suicide rates at a Greenland mine. The university, which has recently been conducting studies into isolated communities, first became interested in the workers of the northwestern lead mine last year. They discovered that even taking into account Greenland's naturally higher suicide rate, local figures for the last 100 years were abnormally high at 46 deaths per 100,000 populace, compared to the national average of 29. On further investigation, experts diagnosed in many of the miners symptoms in common with the earlier stages of paranoid schizophrenia. This has prompted researchers to hypothesize that natural deposits of lysergic acid, a pH-4 formula recently discovered to have hallucinogenic properties, may be present in the rocks. Few locals were conducive to interview, but those who agreed to speak had their own explanation. Inuit spirits known as the Tungate, or the Tunge, live in the mountains. The university is awaiting the results of chemical testing. Studies continue. Officer's Log, the 15th day of August 1945. Command Bunker, Emergency Airstrip Zulu, Weekly Report. Another unremarkable week in Greenland. Regular supply shipments received. Standard emergency drills carried out. Routine runway maintenance completed. I have ordered maintenance be carried out twice weekly from here on in due to increased snowfall. 1 wounded. The 1 wounded figure is no cause for concern back in London. The Germans haven't extended their front line by 4,000 miles. 2 of my men were caught manufacturing cherry bombs in our workshop armory and succeeded in blowing off a couple of fingers. I take partial responsibility for this, in that I allowed them to access to the demolitions manual we keep in the storeroom, and I'm sure that's where they learned the ingredients. As a precautionary measure, I have now looked up that manual in the chest in my office, and will keep the key on my person at all times. Needless to say, both men have been disciplined, and the injured man has been sent home for medical care. I cannot help but think that a more suitable punishment would have been for him to stay out here, but that the matter is out of my hands. This base is so disconnected sometimes. I feel as if this war could end, and we might not even hear about it out here. Supplies requisition order. Dynamite for excavation purposes. 7 bayonets, not necessary in my opinion, but procedure states we should have a full complement. 1 industrial ice pick for removing the damn ice that forms on the external hatch. One pair of reading glasses, category 7C, in order for myself. My glasses are in rather a poor state of repair and could do with replacing. Reconditioning of the mine continues to progress. The structure is being fortified from potential bomb damage, and excavation of previously caved-in areas is going ahead. One point of curiosity is some kind of archaeological find, an artifact buried in the earth and discovered by one of the work teams. Later this evening, after marshal duty, I shall take a closer look at the artifact. It appears to be man-made and may have working parts inside. I shall remove what looks like the front cover and see if I can't discover the source of the light which constantly emanates from it. Signed, Chief NCO M. Majors. Okay. Just a minute. Big Book of Explosives, 1923 edition. Okay, which we'll probably use that later. Later on in the game, that's actually going to come in handy. Now, what we do to save the game is right here. A man, an old man, clutching something unseen. He is strange, and yet he is no stranger. Never seen before, still I know. This man before me is Howard. I call him father. Oh, what the hell? What just happened? I don't know if that was such a great idea. That is how you save the game, by the way. For those of you who are wondering. Just go back out. Now, you gotta be careful because there is a wild dog that is now... Oh god, there's something down here. Okay. I hate this part. Just have to wait. Okay. Got past it. Just gotta go to the storage area. Okay, that was one hard part. There are several of those in the game, but one. Okay, lighter. Let's see. Lighter plus fuel equals smiley face. Bugs equal bugs. It's locked. Beams of rowing. Just old paint cans dried long ago. Yeah. I'll save it here. It was different, but the same, that time. Like I had more control, but over what? Move this out of the way. It looks as if this basement caved in some years ago. Something's tunneled through here more recently, though. First, what sort of creature made these markings? Don't really want to find... Oh boy. Spider. Good. Just saving again. May never get used to that. Now I gotta go back down. A horrible sight. Luckily it's mummified, or else the smell would be awful. That's one of them dogs. One of them dogs. Old dusty bags. Day 1. I begin this record, still in the hope that the great work we have undertaken here might one day be of scientific value. Despite the chaos which has ensued in the 6 hours previous, my aim is to remain secure until what help there may be arrives, and to that end I have barricaded myself into a small workshop area in the abandoned part of the mine. I hope that the meager food rations here will keep me alive, and that those I hide from will not jeopardize that. Perhaps this mine really is cursed. It's almost precisely 30 years since the incident that brought us here, and now 30 years on, fate has struck again. Day 3. I forecasted that today the rescue crews would arrive, but I can only hypothesize that they would be unaware of my location, and hence busy themselves evacuating the other survivors. If they have not arrived by tomorrow, I will go out in search of them. Day 6. My first mistake was to make assumptions on the matter of rescue. My second mistake was to make assumptions on the safety of this mine. My third mistake was to act on both those assumptions in going outside of my safe haven. My best estimate is that I left the workshop where I was secured about 2 days ago in search of aid, and I have found only danger. I approached the old living quarters, but curiously could find no sign of life whatsoever. I returned in what I thought was the direction from which I had come, but soon found myself in an unfamiliar location. Confused but focused, I attempted to make my way home, but found myself threatened by some species of feral creature, which seems to have made this old mine its home. Although the specimen bore significant interest to me, I chose to retreat, only to find myself outmaneuvered and outnumbered by the beasts. I turned and ran, injuring my ankle in the process, which I believe now most likely a sprain, rather than a fracture. For some time I cowered and fled into the dark, but a few hours ago I discovered a door leading to a smaller disused part of the mine, the key for which I still have in my pocket. Within that area I discovered this storeroom, and I think it should keep me safe for some time. This place is a maze. My lesson learned. I will not venture out again until I am certain the area is safe. Day 19. Rescue seems increasingly unrealistic. Supplies diminishing. Lots of spiders in this place. I do not like spiders. Day 34. I caught one of the accursed 8-legged beasts nestling in my open mouth when I woke up this morning. To my surprise, I swallowed it. It's not so much the act of swallowing which concerned me, but the genus of arachnid. It would be unlikely that a cave-dwelling spider would be venomous to any significant degree, but the possibility troubles me all the same. Day 35. Any known venom would have affected me by now, and so today is my first minor cause for celebration. I have had since the incident. By lucky coincidence, this revelation also means I have discovered a virtually inexhaustible supply of nutrition. I intend to venture into the basement beneath this storeroom, in the name of science, to discover more about these creatures' natural habitat. Day 50. For 4 days now, I have been surviving solely off the quite considerable sustenance provided by the spiders. For some time I was struggling to gather enough of the crunchy little morsels, however. Lady Luck smiled on me once more when the batteries in my torch died, and I made a second life-saving finding. The creature's natural habitat is the dark. With my light now diminished, I need only lie still for a few minutes, and I will have attracted enough of the beasts for a rather hearty meal. Okay. Wow. Okay. Day 71. Scientific findings 2. My earlier assumptions on the benign nature of my cellmates may have been made in error. After a careful autopsy, I am concerned that there may be a small volume of natural chemicals stored in the stomach which, if ingested regularly over a period of time, may become psychotropic or even lethal. My only real chance is to break out of here and raid any stashes of supplies I can find. However, the evidence against such a move is insurmountable. Number 1, I have no source of light. Number 2, I swore to myself I wouldn't leave until I heard human voices outside. Number 3, the spiders are so tasty. Day 100. From the marks I have been making on the walls, and my scribbled diary entries, which in the dark may amount to an illegible squall, today is the 100th day of my new life. Over the past month, my edible friends have become more and more aggressive and have swelled in number and size. Whether or not this is a regular result of my plundering their ecosystem, I am unsure. However, at this rate of growth, they will soon be too large to crawl through the gaps in the walls. For all I know, I could only be seeing the tip of the iceberg. If all fails and I am never recovered, I hope at least that my study of, and indeed involvement with, these fascinating creatures will one day be regarded as an important point in natural history. The greatest names in modern science got there more through fluke than talent, and it appears that this rule has extended itself to my discovery of this delicious new species. I only pray that the second rule deems my breakthrough too insignificant, for all great discoveries tend to consume their inventor. I've been finding a lot of notes here. If it weren't for the size of the pieces, I would say it looks like eggshells. Finally, this must be where all that's left of the basement storage. That lock looks rather worse for wear. How about I whack it? There you go. This chest must be quite common. Some batteries. Fluid lighter gas. Oh, hospital gray paint can. Now I gotta go back to this is the way, I think. It looks like an internal organ, maybe an animal tongue. The largest spider I've ever seen. Its guts carved open. Nothing in there. That's a key. Oh, another note. Spider hater's note. Day 200. It has been some time since I recorded any findings in relation to the spiders with whom I have shared my existence in the past 8 months, partly due to my enforced retreat from their basement territory. Not too long ago, their behavior became overtly aggressive, and so I have attempted to barricade the main entrance to their lair, and secured myself within one of the smaller rooms above it, the only one with an operational door lock. The other reason is that I have been recovering from a minor operation, which I was forced to conduct myself without the aid of anesthetic. Even if I did have any anesthetic or surgical tools, I couldn't afford to be less indulgent in my work, so anesthetic was out. Surgical tools are all well and good, but although it may be becoming old and rusty, I still trust my penknife to do the job just as well. The procedure itself was elementary enough, a simple amputation of a non-vital organ. I began to notice a thick, glue-like substance forming on my tongue, and was forced to accept that it had become infected through constant toxic ingestion. Day 300. Another century of days comes and goes. It seems like so long since I escaped here. At some stage since my last entry, I attempted to return from whence I came. That from which I originally was fleeing seems a fate far worse than the one I now face. However, in the time since I arrived from the larger mine system, a cave-in has occurred, blocking any further progress. I was forced to return and accept whatever end life has in store for me. I still hear my aggressive little friend scratching on the door to my cell. Okay. Search these. I gotta probably save my game. This should fire up now. This shows some kind of trapdoor, but I can't see where it would be. Yeah, that's that. Okay. Now, the next thing I gotta do is I got to begin finding the parts of the explosives. I gotta go back to the office first, because you gotta get the backstrand. Don't forget that. I missed it when I was there, so you have to go back in and get it. I gotta watch out for that creature. I don't know where the dog is. The dog creature. So you gotta go to the workshop later, but okay, good, this is the office. Oh, there it is. I missed it. Some more batteries. Okay. It is a picture of a British platoon. They must date back to World War II. I suppose this mine was converted into some kind of bunker. And save it. Whenever you're used to that. Okay, make sure I got everything. So I won't be coming back here. But I got the backstrin, which you won't be able to build the explosive without it, so make sure you have it. Okay, it looks like now I have to go to the workshop next. Workshop, okay. There's a secret to this. To block the entryway. Now watch this. I need to grab the key to number 4 and I think I put the metal one in front of the track so the dog cannot bust through it as easily. There. Okay, what I gotta do, so I gotta go get this. Gotta quickly get this. Okay, that'll hold the dog for a few minutes. That's why you put the metal thing in front of the crack so it can't break it open, unlike the this must be the only exit it has caved in. Okay. My favorite workshop. This is actually a code for a little bit of hint for those that need it. I love my workshop. It is too great a hunting ground to let others gorge their faces. One cannot help but feel for those without such delicate mousy morsels on which to munch. For Red ate ravenously of their flesh today, and shall continue to do so. This is possible, thanks solely to the button pad I installed on the door, and yet Red's mind is working somewhat backwards today. So how you decode this is you have to do this backwards. So see these highlighted numbers? Instead of 2, 1, 4, 8, it's 8, 4, 1, 2, and that is the code. So what you get to do is you go here. Doesn't matter if he breaks through that. It doesn't really matter. He does it anyway. He breaks through that. Eventually he breaks through that. So you don't have to go through that way anyway. You can just go this way. And this is the explosives room, which is right there. And what you do is you see this, my favorite workshop. The code is 8412. The code is 8412. And there's the code. That's how to decode that for anyone who wants to know. That's brilliant. One step closer to setting off those explosives without losing any vital body parts. And save. There must be... these must be tied into what's going on here. If I keep experimenting, I may discover something useful or have a heart attack. So what you gotta do? Let's see. These look like they've seen some use in their time. Can't have been much fun working down here. In fact, it must have been pretty god-awful. Looks ancient. It's so old I don't even know what it would be used for. And then you gotta remove these rocks, and you get a pickaxe. It could just be a piece of ice reflecting the light, or more likely my imagination, but something's definitely catching the light. It's called a pickaxe, which I will use. Number 4. Now what you need to do is we go through here. Okay. This place is in a serious state. Did that railing come off through disrepair, or was it ripped off? See, an electric fence, and it's been put up recently. I'd better find a way to get over it. Okay, see, it's an electric fence. So what you gotta do is you gotta find the wooden beams. You gotta find this too to stabilize the beams, so they don't go backwards on you. Yep. Okay. Okay. Okay, now what you do... Alright. Perfect. Gunpowder keg. There's only a small hole at the top though, not big enough to reach in. Darn it. I keep on... Just a minute. Okay, this is the dynamite. Okay, now with this, what I gotta do is you gotta put this in here, and you gotta put this so the gunpowder can stick. Okay, right, within your lock, one fuse, ready to go. Okay, so that's how you do that. So I think I got everything. So now this electric fence is turned off, so I don't have to worry about that. You can also destroy those things if you want. I don't, I just go around. But you can use the pickaxe or the shovel or the hammer to do that. And save this. And then... Okay. Okay, now what you do... Okay, I've got the fuse sorted. One spark and this thing should go up a tree. I just hope it doesn't take with it. Okay, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to the explosive book. Okay, you gotta be up here. Oh, that's right. You have to put the fluid lighter gas. Yeah, okay, that's one of the things you have to learn about the lighter. You have to fill the lighter gas up first. Kaboom. When I look back, I can't think what spurred me to go deeper into the mine. Perhaps it was arrogance at still being alive, or something as ridiculous as facing adversity and coming out on top. Now, I know I would have been better off starving or being mauled to death than kick-starting the chain of events that led me to end up here, writing to you. I just hope, once you understand my story, you will have what's necessary to put an end to this tale. I certainly didn't. Okay, I came from up there. Yours is down here, so alien compared to the way it sounds off on the surface. The rock wall sounded almost From the look of the thing, I guess this is the control panel for that generator. I wonder how many accidents they had before this was put up. I shudder to think. Well, you go down there later, I think. But not right now. This thing's huge. It must be about 3.5 megawatts. But it's pretty old. Certainly enough to light a few bulbs, though. Some kind of protective screen, maybe. I wonder what's protecting them from. that? I don't know. Oh, there. Steelberg Generator Type 7G. Congratulations on your purchase from the Type 7 product line. We are certain that you will be pleased with your new petrol-driven electrical backup system. Below are highlighted just a few of the added and improved features of the 7G model. Avoid personal wear and tear. The wind-up startup motor has been replaced with the battery-driven unit. Grease in the industrial workplace can be an accident-inducing insurance nightmare, so enjoy the new increased grease control system. Electrical installation can be expensive to install and maintain, so the economical 7G basis model arrives without, and much, much more. Quick Start Guide. Ensure the area surrounding the 7G is clear of equipment and personnel in case of overheating. Connect and confirm secondary flow by turning appropriate valve. Turn on cooling system to avoid overheating. Release excess steam until pressure is within safe limits. Begin grease flow, ensuring leakage is minimal. Turn main valve and confirm primary flow. Pull main operation lever. Check energy output. Your unit should now be fully functional. What was that? Probably prevented access to the mine proper out of working hours. Something like that won't open without power. Auxiliary shaft, excavation and storage. Huh. Boom. Emergency procedures. In the event of an emergency, all mine workers are asked to follow the standard emergency procedure detailed in the leaflet provided. Rescue services will already be on their way, so under no circumstances should employees attempt to aid colleagues themselves or contact the emergency services. This code sheet is provided for use in the extremely unlikely event that you are trapped in the mine, with no way in which to signal or otherwise contact emergency crews. In this scenario, you should ensure the stability of surrounding environment by gently tapping and feeling the rock. Number 2, once you feel certain that there is no risk of rock slide, check to see if you have any form of communications device in hand, and attempt to send a distress signal using this code sheet. Should such a device be unavailable or damaged, begin firmly tapping out a message on the wall of the cave. Rescue crews will hear you and arrive promptly to dig you out. And this is the whole Morse code thing. You will need this later. The Morse code part. It says 50 amp fuses, but the box is empty. Still, the contents can't be far away. So you gotta go find the fuses. Oh. That's beef jerky. These spare radio parts don't look spare at all. They almost look like they've been put here recently. Radio. Calm radio. That beeping coming from the speakers. Maybe there's someone out there after all. The 12th day of January, 72. Boys, I'd come have a word with you myself, but I've got more important things to do than piss about making sure you're all doing your jobs properly. Now, I know there's a certain amount of camaraderie between you lot, playing pranks and jokes on each other. It comes with the territory, and that's fine, so long as you don't add me to your list. God knows you need something to keep you entertained down here. However, you all know full well that Penrose has some very deep-seated issues with his height. So anyone who thought it'd be a good idea to sabotage his generator, then hide all the spare fuses on the top shelf in the storeroom, would quite clearly need his head examined, you get me? In other news, Jones, I want that inventory done yesterday. And the rest of you, it's not all fun and games, you hear? On a serious note, another radio's gone missing, and you'd better hope to God that means one of you lost it. Because stealing ain't a pretty word in my book. It's the third one this month, which means the amnesty on coming clean is fast coming to a close. Then there'll be repercussions, got it? What's strange is, you're all supposed to be working in pairs, so nobody should be able to get their hands on a radio without the others spotting it. When I find out who's responsible, I'm gonna find out how they got away with it so long. Then I'm gonna fling them out into the snow and leave them there. They'll just disappear into the night, just like all those videos. Harvard, lead my employment. They say there's a storage closet. By the way, this radio is in Morse code. And I think that has something to do with the Morse code writings. So I'll show you what they are as a hint. If you're stuck, I will put the code in for you. The fuses are in here. Yeah. Wait, the fuses are in here. The fuses. But yeah, well, a spare might come in handy, but these fuses look A1 to me. Okay. Okay. The first thing you gotta do is I got to put that there, and then you gotta throw this box down here. Then you gotta destroy these two. Then you gotta go down here because that box has a battery that came out of it, and that's what powers the generator startup system. So you're gonna need that. And then okay. Battery in, startup motor functional, we should be all set. Okay, now what you do is you have to put this in a certain order. Now, the current order that you put them in is this three-pointed thing first. And then number 3, number 5, number 4, and number 1. And then what you do is you pull a switch. They're blinding. Wait, at this generator's age is one of these sparks. One of the sparks at all. Okay, it was a power surge. So, what you gotta do is you gotta put the oh yeah, that's number 6. Alright, we should be finally ready to go. Okay, so what you do is you repeat. Okay, that worked. So let's save it.
Good day, can you hear me? Well, I hope that your ears are working better than your tongue, so that you might use them to listen to my words. You have turned on the light at the end, beginning, and middle of the tunnel, but some things remain shrouded in darkness. My Morrissey message I hope has helped, but what you need now is to the wall hole to the right of the fence. Go now, there is no time to explain. Well, in fact, time is one of the few things we have in abundance down here. What surprises I've spoiled by such catty curiosity.
Okay, that's actually the code. is actually the Morse code, I think. And the code number is 5738. Oh, for crying out loud. This is great, this is wonderful. Okay. That was a close one. The dog can climb stairs for those of you who want to know. Let me save this game. Okay, now what you gotta do. You gotta sneak past the dog and go past the gate. Past the dog, go through the gate. Okay, now I have to go to the right. To auxiliary shaft.
My memory is like something with a great many small holes. We shall be needing to perform some minor demolition work so that we might one day meet again. For this task, we shall require the use of a large, earth-eating metal monster, and that monster is thirsty for juice from the place where things are kept. By the way, you can call me Red. It's not my name, you understand, but I am sure you will agree it is a name rather similar to a cardigan. Fetching when worn correctly.
Tool shed. There's a dog right there too. Oh yeah. Here we go. Tool shed. Saw. Xeno Report 66B, Phase 9, NO 9002, Anno Domini 1992. Filed by Chief Attending Xeno Officer for the eyes of the leading installation officer only. Leader. Unlike the other findings, 66B appears to be of manufactured rather than natural origin, and so warrants additional interest and, need I say, security. The bulk of substance 63 was discovered only 6 yards from where artifact 66B was buried, and appears at least in part to consist of a solidified form of 63 with a number of operable appendages. The artifact emits a low level of light from a seemingly inexhaustible energy supply, suggesting its origin is indeed as was suspected. Of course, the ramifications of this fact are clear, and appropriate measures have already been taken. Progress is becoming enlightened as to the purpose of the device, if indeed it serves a purpose in the traditional sense at all, has been slow. Following protocol to the letter, I assigned my secondary officer to the artifact on Phase 7, only for him to go missing the following day. He eventually returned to the site from a previously uncharted area of the mines, presumably having discovered a new route, avoiding the cave-ins. At this stage, we can only assume what transpired, since he remains in a state of disorientation. Far be it from me to question the decisions of the elevated caste, but I am struggling to understand the necessity of conducting standard scientific testing in this case. I, of course, have full faith in the abilities of the research team, put together and sent here by my immediate superior. I simply wonder whether their time might be better employed on the main site. Nevertheless, it is comforting to know that the actions of every member of the organization are carefully choreographed and controlled by those far outranking myself, both in stature and wisdom, and with this in mind, I feel fully justified in filing an official request for further manpower. We have already lost a number of workers to unforeseen events, largely while engaging in the studies mentioned earlier, and further investigation of the area calls for volunteers to carry out tasks altogether too hazardous in nature to risk the well-being of more elevated organization members. In particular, the tunnel system above the secondary site requires immediate cartography. There's a dog out there, so... Damn, I can't get the door to open. I'll jot down a note just in case.
Those holes in my mind are increasingly gaping. You cannot breach the inner sanctum of the place of storing. The entryway is blocked. So what if the squashy material between my ears is squashier than most? I may not be perfect like a hanging picture, but my words are wise and backed up by time. A pox on both your brain cells. Try as I may, you must think that I deceive you with my admittingly cunning ways. As far as my eye has seen, our rocky grave extends, and yet you cast away my hope like you would a puppy freshly rolled in its own feces. I hope that your warped sense of morality is better company than I, because now it is all you have left.
So how am I supposed to get up there?
I'm sorry. Sometimes my emotions are like a disobedient pet. Uncontrollable and often rolling in shit. Better safe than sorry, they say. But I think we are both sorrier than we are safe. A tunnel lies between a nearby watery cave and the place where things are kept. Take the second right from the closed door, and you will find what you seek.
Okay. Oh, that's just great. Good. Piercing white light, still not enough to illuminate the whole room. That must be the tunnel leading to the storeroom. It's pretty high up though. I'll save it here, but first I'll read this. Excavation findings. The test substance continues to defy identifications. Both chemical and xeno investigations fail to produce meaningful results. Testing continues. Test 102, bromine test, normal, pH 5. Test 103, acid amide test, negative. Test 104, ammonia NH3, negative, unreactive. Test 105, hydrochloric acid solution, negative for sulfate, sulfide, and chloride ions. Test 106, standard hallucinogenics, mild intoxicant. Tests abandoned due to most test subjects suffering massive internal hemorrhaging within 1 to 2 hours. Test 107, positive/negative metal cations, incomplete. Test 108, human hallucinogenics, incomplete. Testing of the gaseous fog has been considerably more successful. It appears to be a harmless blend of sulfur, chlorine, and aromatic amine, which gives it the floating visual effects. Please note that harmless here is used in the xenochemics sense. It is harmless insofar as we have identified it, and so can take the necessary safety measures. If directly ingested, it would naturally be lethal. Test 159, potassium dichromate paper, positive for sulfur. Test 161, litmus test, negative for all but chlorine. Test 301, hydrochloric acid solution, positive for aromatic amine. Work continues on the issue of transporting the substance. So far, removing it from its dormant location causes its base state to radically change, producing massive heat to the detriment of 3 workers, one of whom is no longer operational due to his injuries. Following heat dissipation, the substance appears to turn dead, unreactive to every test we have the equipment to run. The prevailing theory is that somehow the disruption of the material causes it to enter hugely accelerated chemical decay. We estimate its half-life to be approximately 0.4 seconds. The man still clutching, still looking. For what? Before him lies metal, jutting awkward from earth. A hatch, a portal, a hole, a door, unfamiliar text. Who are these figures, huddled around? What secrets are hidden from behind the faces of men? I felt something that time that I didn't feel before, but I'm sure it's always been there. It's as if a small part of me is still trapped inside the artifact.
Okay. This could have been jammed by when I turned on the power. This could have been damaged when I got the power on. There's a draft coming from that dank looking hole up there. All the same, it's hardly inviting. In fact, it's the complete opposite. The supplies in this box look military. They can't be more than 20 years old. For better or for worse, looks like I can climb up into the tunnel mouth. Just save it. Okay. Okay. Now what you gotta do is you got to quickly pull this rock here so the spiders cannot get through. I hope these came from an animal, but I have my suspicions. I need to get out of here. And what you do is you there. do that.
Now you should find yourself in the watery cave of conversations past, with a tunnel above you from times ahead. In this tunnel, for both our sakes, be careful, not curious. I have already spoken to you about the cat, and repeating myself is not only out of the question, but out of the window and climbing down the guttering. There are spiders in the tunnels that love to suck on the humid fluids, so do not disturb the walls. They are fragile like the china vase in the hooves of the bull.
Okay, you just gotta put this here. Now you gotta run. Okay, run.
There should be some insect repellent in that red and white cross box in that room. Just in case those spiders found your flesh delicious. How does my brain flesh know your fluids are leaking? Because the red tricked you. The spider tunnel was far from necessary evil. More so, it served as a well-deserved punishment. You thought my mind had been lost to the ravages of time, but poetic justice is struck with a sonnet and an eight-legged baptism of fire. With justice now served cold, I hope that we can be good friends. Now reclaim the key and go-go juice, and find a way to the mining monster.
According to Red, I just need to find a can of gasoline as well. That's somewhere around here. Lots of equipment, but useless. Can of gasoline, so where is that? This vent system with snake all over the storage van looks like a tight squeeze. I don't fancy it unless I absolutely have to. This is a storage area.
what? There's a key. I need the gasoline. Okay. I feel certain that this key and gasoline tank is over the wounded. Okay, I got all the pieces. Greenland myths. Let's read this. Inuit mythology, Christian foresight, first published 1903. Over the past 100 years, our people have seen something of a religious revelation. The Kalalit and Inuit in general might be said to have seen the error of our ways, and Christianity has become increasingly embraced throughout the Arctic communities. It is the purpose of this paper to explore the true roots of our long-held beliefs and to uncover how they might be justified today
in our newfound enlightenment. As such, this essay will be the first I have written in English, as opposed to our native Kalaalleq. Animate. It is no coincidence that the word animate bears resemblance to the English word angel. The animate are the Inuit equivalent of the soul, an undying entity released in the death of its worldly body. The concept itself is obviously well grounded in decent Christian belief. However, previous thought has been blasphemous to the extent that souls are attributed to all beings, man or beast. To claim such a thing would be to imply that the killing of a beast for food is the same as the murder of your fellow man, and such a belief simply cannot be held to the civilized Inuit. The Turned Gate. Legends speak of disembodied spirits, malicious in nature, sabotaging tools, turning hunts bad, and at times even possessing the weak or unfortunate. A Turned Gate appears to have no recognized or agreed origin, both in terms of the legend itself and the individual being, causing great doubt to be entirely justifiable. Can we, in our Christian foresight, really believe in possessions and evil spirits? It seems perfectly clear to this writer that the real origin of the Turned belief lies in the Christian demon, for as we are taught by the generous and selfless Moravian Church, without whose support our people would no doubt have starved many years ago, the demon is capable of possession and of countless other atrocities, which only the good Christian man can avoid throughout a lifetime of humility and devotion. With the conclusions reached above, the status of the cherished Angakuk, the tribe shaman, should be obvious. Such people are in league with the Turned demons, working side by side to control and contain the Kalaallit people. We have no need for such superstition and suspicious breeding people in our Christian ways. The Protestant priest can perform all of the Angakuk's duties and more beside. God. The final challenge of the work such as this should be to find the nature of the Christian God and to ask why he has not been present for so many years in Inuit belief. Until recently, the Inuit people wrongly attributed to animate, almost godlike status in certain cases and treated the Turned as the devil incarnate. It is no major leap of faith to suggest that such beliefs have been underpinned by a central concern that there has been something missing in Inuit life, that something is indubitably God. I hope that my findings have informed and enlightened the atheist few that remain in Inuit culture and ask the Lord Jesus Christ to redeem their souls. By Peter Henry Nature. Okay. That was Greenland Myths. Let me save it. And let's move on. better wait here. Okay, that was a close one. Let's steer clear of that. do it. Right here. Apart from the dark electrics. Good. Door there. Okay. Now we have it. Okay, I will save it here. This must be the control station for that yellow monstrosity. I think that this must go right here. Not there, then. Oh. There. Even with the key, it's not too keen to ignite. There must be something wrong with the machine itself. The lid on the gas can is rusted shut. I'd better have something that can get it open, or I'll be down here for a long time. Okay. You use a hammer to get the lid off. As my new friend might say, drink, you thirsty beast. And now...
You seek to find the truth behind all this mystery, and think it will set you free. But truth is relative, and relatives cannot be trusted to bring good gifts. What you seek lies in the shafts beyond this collapsing of the sky, and if you look closely, so do I. A century of days has passed since I saw this area last. The disease ones sought to kill poor Red, but I took them on a wild poultry chase. They ended dead. They came from out the big metal door, but after all my years I knew the cave's door. Hide and seek turned to seek and hide, and I buried them here beneath the solid rock sky.
It's strange, but hearing that digger finally running might be the most reassuring thing. Save it. From out the door rises something vast, something terrible.
It strikes a man, knocking him down, and those standing by him wither in the darkness. Screaming begins. Still farther looks on. Is he bringing this? Father, what have you done? I suppose I can trust these things a bit more. I'm not dead yet. Still, they must have a purpose. What could it be? It seemed so strange now to have been guided like a blind man by a faceless stranger whose sanity was clearly reigning. Disposition unknown. For all I know, this Red didn't even have a disposition to speak of, just a seething mass of conflicting emotions. I knew that my radio-reliant friend must have been cocooned nearby, and perhaps in finding him, I would find myself one step closer to understanding what was going on. In just a couple of hours, I would find what I was looking for, and with it would come answers. I didn't realize at the time, but the answers I found would be for questions I hadn't even asked. Just gotta cross this little chasm here. There's a death worm coming, so I gotta run. You have to get past here. Whoa, how that thing was huge. It must be my imagination. It almost feels like there's warm air coming from down there. This door is sealed tight with no handle. How's it operated? Good, got some meds. Took some meds. I can't see where the cables from this lever lead. The files are getting newer as I move deeper into the mines. Most of these are dated from around 1965. Strange, nothing more recent than 1970. There's some old stacks.
I hear your trembling tootsies padding towards their final destination. Things come to those that wait, whether they want them or not, and soon I think your wait will be over. The great metal door in reality is calling you, just as the Reaper beckons me forward. I look forward to finally greeting you. I only hope I need not greet the Reaper man first.
Just some communications kits and that's so the dog can't get in. Screwdriver. Gonna need that. No first aid. And a bolt cutter. Gonna need those two things. Gonna need those two. Another security door. I'll need the code, I suppose.
dog. I killed the dog. I killed the dog. I can't believe I killed the dog. So you can kill those things if you stand on a box and swing with the pickaxe or other weapon. You can get them. You can defeat them. I don't know if there's another one around here, but I got that one. But I got plenty of beds, so if I get injured, you know, like, this is shaft 12. Not exactly sure where I'm supposed to go, but got the security door. Okay. I can see why they need fencing down here, but why use barbed wire? What are they trying to keep out? There's one right there. This must be the hub where all the rocks from the mine is collected and refined. These pistons would press every bone in my body. Control panel for those pistons.
engraving etched in the back of my mind can compare to the sight you must be seeing. Now power has returned. I wish I could be there with you, but circumstances do not allow for such frivolities. Maybe soon there is something you can do about that. But tell me, are there ever melted conveyances now churning in the rock room? I think I know where they lead. It is some kind of heaven or a utopia.
That goes over here. So that's how you can take this thing up here. You can't take it up the stairs. But that, yeah. Right, and that's how you stop that.
We are now such good and lasting friends. I have gifted you with my love. Perhaps you could gift me with something. After all, the laws of politeness would be shattered if you were to appear at my party without a gift. Poor Red is so hungry. He could eat both the horse and the young rippling stable hand. Sadly, pony flesh is so hard to come by in these parts, and man meat is just so bland. If your eyes happened upon a scurrying rodent, would you deliver the crunchy feast by way of a final meal?
Come on. Okay, so what I might need to do is I need to take that thing that jammed the fan, and you need to take that. You need to take this with you, I think. Okay. Okay, you just have to get that right. The door is jammed shut. Number 7. Try this. Good, you have to hammer that. just open it. Never mind. If I do that. A cart and tracks for transporting ore. As far as I know, they use the same setup to this day. It's completely closed up. I can't get out that way. I may never get out. Those chains are holding the cart in place. Here. There. Stacks of books. They're a mixture of industrial reference material and scientific journals. Dissected worm. It looks to be a smaller species of that worm thing I saw earlier, or just a juvenile. It's been dissected, the internal organs removed. It couldn't be much older than that wall I demolished. There's a mess of statistics and crude drawings on this chalkboard. They all relate to a large species of ammonite. A 60s microscope, functional for research purposes, but we've come a long way since these were common. News clipping, Copenhagen Post. Copenhagen Post, Friday the 25th of December, 1970. Superstition extinct, death mine still breathing. A worker at the northwestern iron mine, Greenland, is missing, presumed dead. As of midnight last night, locals fear foul play. Mining now forms the largest single industry in Greenland. At 16 years old, the northwestern iron mine is a relatively new part of a larger complex, which also includes a lead operation and is built on the site of an older mine. Later converted into a military bunker and finally closed in 1952, the iron mine retains its excellent work record. In spite of the recent disappearance of an unnamed worker, we have discovered that the man in question was a young laborer brought in from mainland Europe, possibly Denmark, and authorities have both sides of the strait. Let's start again. Copenhagen Post, Friday, the 25th day of December, 1970. Superstition extinct, death mine still breathing. A worker at the northwestern iron mine, Greenland, is missing, presumed dead. As of midnight last night, locals fear foul play. Mining now forms the largest single industry in Greenland. At 16 years old, the northwestern iron mine is a relatively new part of a larger complex, which also includes a lead operation and is built on the site of an older mine, later converted into a military bunker and finally closed in 1952. The iron mine retains its excellent work record in despite of the recent disappearance of an as yet unnamed worker. We have discovered that the man in question was a young laborer brought in from mainland Europe, possibly Denmark, and authorities on both sides of the strait are currently attempting to contact any family he may have left behind. The man disappeared 10 days ago, and the mine foreman has now exercised his power to declare him presumed dead. This decision, as we are told, was not taken lightly. A full search of the mining operation was commissioned to no avail. Without the appropriate equipment or transport, the mine could not have survived on the surface. The man could have not survived on the surface, although superstition in Greenland has seen a decrease in popularity over the past years. Although superstition in Greenland has seen a decrease in popularity over the past years, some local inhabitants still claim that the land itself is cursed. This very paper ran a report almost 40 years ago to the day, discussing high suicide figures for the area, but findings at the time were considered to be inconclusive. Written by Lars Jensen. Okay, let's save it in a minute. An overhead projector. It's badly faded, but it looks like a close-up view of some species of annelid. Okay, let's save the game before moving on. A cohort, a man with no name. It is he who opens this gate to hell. A grin on his face. He is terrible indeed. He watches the men writhe and turn. Still, Father looks on, something vital in his hand. When I use these now, I feel as if I'm not the only one. It's getting crowded in there, like I'm just one visitor of many. Strange thing is, they all seem familiar.
It's locked from the other side, but I think the key's still in the lock. Gotta find something to... There's about a half-inch gap under the door, and the connecting room's pitch black. Okay. 7. Okay. That's how you get the key. There's only one green-blooded land-dwelling creature big enough to lose this much blood, and I don't see many lizards hanging about. All these cabinets are damaged. Something violent went on in here. It's an artificial habitat. Those things look long dead. I think I know how they felt, not being able to get out. Wow. This writing scrawled everywhere must be an ultraviolet beam. Definitely the product of a drain's mind. But whose?
While you hunt for those delicate, melt-in-your-mouth mousy morsels, there are places you should not go, for fear of death. The Reaper lives here, just like you and I. And just like you and I, he must ingest the living flesh of those less fortunate than him. There is a small place that I do not want you to visit, even on your holidays, because it is dark and evil place that I've been. When the darkness has overwhelmed my small decaying mind, some bad things flowed from my mind and through my pen. The brilliant blue ink itself seemed to turn to blood into my grace. And by the way, should you turn peckish, red is at its finest sautéed with a little engine oil.
A cohort, a man with no name. It is he who opens this gateway to hell, a grin on his face. He is terrible indeed. He watches the men rise and turn. Still, Father looks on, something vital in his hand. Can't go in there. Okay, you have to jump on top of that. Shaft 12, I need to go to Section C, I think. Shaft 12, Section C. I think there's Shaft 13 I still need to do.
Okay, made it. Lord, those tunnels. I know what this means. I better not stick around it for too long. Another cave in. I'll have to read that later. No time to chat now. There's spiders that come through here, so I had to get out there quick. Yeah, sorry about that. Now I can do that. Now I can read the trap miner and its final words. The 24th day of February, 1972. I write this note in the knowledge that it may well serve as my last will and testament. Myself and 3 other miners have been trapped beneath the main shaft to the surface for what we believe to be 3 days, but with no daylight and increasing dehydration, it's impossible to tell. The only thing keeping us alive is the hope that there would be a rescue team already on the way. We were all so positive at the start, but that seems long ago now. Renton was the first to crack. Sometime during the first night, we all just lay there, trying to sleep through the sound of his wailing and sobbing, trying to pretend his problems weren't our own, and that he was weak for having given up so soon. The fact was, he was dealing with the situation pretty realistically. Our chance of survival gets smaller every hour. Since then, he hasn't said much, but the despair that gripped him seems to have spread through the rest of us like a cancer. We were such fools to ignore the foreman, and he paid for that with his life. When he started putting security code locks on all the doors, we thought he was crazy. There's only us down here after all, so why should we need codes to access places? We're all allowed to go. He gave us all code sheets, made us swear to keep them safe. Mine hasn't left my locker more than once. It's still there. Doesn't get much safer than that. We asked him who we were keeping him safe from, but he never said. It was a pain in the arse, is what it was. I had to track all the way to that crazy biologist's office in the mining room this morning, just to check the code for Section C. But he obviously knew something about these mines we didn't. Some of the guys started acting weird. Not crazy weird, just not normal. That didn't seem to stop a couple of them being carted off to mainland Europe for psychiatric help. It was no one I knew well, until the incident 3 days ago. We were in chemical storage when one of the guys who had seemed pretty straight just started shouting. It wasn't a normal kind of shouting. I'm not any kind of wordsmith, so I don't know how to describe the noises he was making. We'll just have to stick with not normal. Anyway, he managed to hurt a couple of guys, damage some equipment before we got him under control. Nothing serious. When we released him, he seemed okay, phased, but alright. Didn't really know where he was, far away look in his eyes. That look, I'll remember that for the rest of my days.
Even if there aren't many more of them, his pupils were dilated. They just seemed to take up more space than should be possible. Black and horrible. Then he snapped and grabbed up one of the high-rated explosive packets. We knew what he intended, saw it in those eyes. Those that could made a run for it, but the guy was already bearing down on the foreman. He didn't have a chance. There were 5 of us who made it out to the exit shaft. Only 4 survived the explosion. The elevator shaft collapsed in on us, and now it's anyone's guess how many are still trapped down here. The last thing I saw were those eyes. Seemed like they were staring at me, and me alone. Miles stepped.
Unless my friends lie somewhere near you now. A friend in need is a friend indeed. But a friend that's dead is a poor conversationalist. May they rest in peace, ruptured and decomposing to pieces.
Let me see if I got it. Take the blank piece of paper back to shaft 12. There at shaft 12. Here we go. Okay. Back to shaft 12. Here we go. And gotta get the letter. With the UV light, there's some text showing up on that blank piece of paper. The note reads, storage password 1371. Okay. Well, let's save it. Okay, now I gotta go to section. Gotta go to section C now and type in the code, then move on from this place. There it is. Section C. There you go. $13.70. Oh, great. Okay, to incinerator. Lake Cow. So where are we? So we're right there. So this is to Lake Utakau.
Really, the hunger is becoming rather uncomfortable here. How far away are you? You cannot be far. I am held captive by a wall of stone in the northeast of the mine. As in any drama, there are many roles to be played. You must act the scientist in mixing potions, act the renegade in plots of destruction. On your travels for the tools with which you will fashion my rescue, you may discover the place of my last meal. Be careful. The shiny, solid floor of water is not as solid as it seems. Poor Red was almost swallowed whole. The two foolsy men who plummeted into my domain have long since departed, though not I expect from whence they came. I ate ravenously of biped meat that day, but Red promises feasting only began when the men became pungent, when the stench of life had gone, and only the sweet aroma of decay remained.
Lake Utakau. This Gore-Tex glove is high-tech, modern stuff. I really hope there's not a body attached to it. Six. Okay, I think that's it. I think that's all. Finally, something younger than me. Maybe this pack will help me figure out what's going on down here. Explorer's Last Will and Testament. Last Will and Testament of Joe Freeman. Final Thoughts. 10/10/2000. I, Joe Freeman, would like to leave all my personal belongings to my sister May in the knowledge that she will distribute them wisely. We always used to say, better to die young than to never live at all. I guess we're going to get our wish. I know enough about survival to realize I won't be surviving much longer. John O, my buddy, I just don't know. My left leg is broken in 3 places, and I suspect I may also have shattered my pelvic bone. 3 hours ago, after we'd set up camp, John O set off to find some usable timber for the fire. When he got back, he wasn't very excited. When he got back, he was very excited. I couldn't work out what it was that had gotten him so agitated, but I went along with it. All the same, I should have recognized the signs. Soon after, he got worse. He jumped me when I would turned away, burying my face in the snow, trying to suffocate me. I still don't know what he found in the ice to enrage him so. Lucky for me, the ground gave way and we both fell. I landed hard on ice and desperately clawed my way onto more solid ground. I was running on adrenaline, didn't notice the pain. I just knew that if I was going to die, I didn't want it to be in the frozen water beneath me. When you fall into a frozen lake, you don't just drown or freeze to death. Your whole body seizes up from the cold. Every instinct tells you to swim for the side, but your body won't let you. You gradually dip under the surface, your last breath expelled when you fell, but you don't drown there, and then your body shuts everything down. Surviving on what strength you have left, you can last for an hour, just floating there, slowly dying. So now I'm lying here, my soaked Gore-Tex slowly freezing me in place. Me on one side of the lake, John O trapped on the other. I'm worried about him. From what I can see from his side, his arm is dislocated, his shoulder blades fractured, and his wrist broken. I can't hear anything he yells, but he looks to be constantly muttering to himself, testing the ice with a crowbar from his pack. I don't know how he can stand the pain or where his strength is coming from, but at any rate, something strange happened to him. Fortunately for me, I can't cross the ice. It'll give way under his weight. The only way to cross would be to carefully spread your weight evenly across the surface, and he looks in too much of a rush for that. There's a lot of drugs in my system right now. I have another bottle of painkillers. There's enough to finish the job. I always said I'd rather die pushing the boundaries than drift away in my sleep. I guess I didn't mean that after all. I'd rather gently slip away than die cold and bleeding. So that was the explorer's friend. But I got the notes and I got the crowbar. So now I have to go back up. Go to chemical storage. Okay, I've visited Lake Utukak, or however you pronounce that. Chemical storage. You just gotta go up to chemical storage. Yeah, I'll go to chemical storage next. Then over to the incinerators. Made it. Made it into chemical storage. See that? That's not good. Yeah, it's not good at all. So what you need to do is you need to close it. That'll block him. You gotta run and do this very, very quickly. And what you do is you take this.
My brain can barely imagine the feats of action men like heroics you must be performing to save old Red. I am waiting so close now for you to blow down the walls of my earthbound prison cell and release me from this mortal coil.
There. There's the other chemicals. Okay, chemist's notebook. I've jotted down a note just in case. Magnesium, calcium, barium, chloride, phosphorus, sodium. Do not forget badly administered dopamine clouds. Frequently everything. Let's save it. Make sure you get every single bit. Just gotta make sure you have every single piece to the puzzle. And I think you have all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's see if that's it. Good. Good.
Okay, now gotta go to the incinerator, which is right over here. The incinerator. Up here. And that's where this comes in. Big full bar that you got like that way.
Where are you, my shiny knight? Have you really made it this far? I wait, and yet the pot never boils. I remain trapped in my den of iniquity. Perhaps the gods have toyed with me once more. Sentenced me to yet more years in this place of eternal nightlight. But now, maybe my ill advice has ended you. Have you rung death's doorbell? Please don't leave poor Ren all alone once more, like all the others.
This must be the cave in that Reds is trapped behind. I need some way to demolish it quickly. Perhaps I can get some tips from my explosives handbook. That's what those chemicals we got in the chemist storage area was for. There's the painkillers. This room should serve me well as a potion mixer with the explosives. Would be my guide. The sink's blocked with some amalgam of chemical sludge. Glass beakers. Container of mixing chemicals. Let's save it. Okay. We don't need these things. We'll get a glass beaker. 7. Okay. Explosive book. Okay, Armstrong's mixture is included in this book. As more of a point of interest than a viable chemical mix, the formula exists as somewhat of a legend in modern pyrotechnics, referenced by those knowledgeable enough to stay away from it as death mix. Its incredibly volatility makes it unsuitable for almost all potential applications. Then there's first thing we need is light it. Oh, first thing we need. Now we light it. Gotta turn the gas on first. Okay, now what we gotta do is make it D and F. Let's see. A, B, C, D, E, F. Sodium chloride. I think it's sodium chloride. Let's see. Okay. Now let's save it.
make sure you save this before this next part. Make sure you grab the cord here, or the rope, which is a fuse. If you do not take that, you can't move on. This needs a fuse to light. So pick this up gently. Do not let it touch anything, even the floor or anything, because it will explode. So you have to gently, don't let it touch the ground. And you have to take it over to that rock fall, which we were at earlier. There. And now, set it gently right there. You'll see a cutscene, so it'll make it easier to do this. Fuse. There we go. And now you run. Okay, and that's how you destroy this. So now you can go down to where Red is, in the incinerator room. You are nearing the end of the game. This is the end. Just a tiny bit more to go. That's the incinerator. This door, it's different, newer than all the others. This must be where Red's been leading me to all this time. I can't get a hold of it. I need something to lever it open. Okay, so we come back here. That's almost the end of the game right there. But there's one thing we have to do before that. We gotta go to the incinerator.
Good evening. You actually came. There is much that should leave my throat box now, but words elude me. You came, you are so pretty, but I have been bad. The underworld already beckons me, so I suppose one further misdemeanor will change little. It is false pretension, and not guiding light with which I have led you here. I cannot give you the answers you want. You may wish to find what it is you seek, but that is a fiction. You cannot know what it is you sought through the vast leaden doorway, or else you would seek anything else in the world. No, the key stays with me, in here, so the life that has led me, horrible as it may be, is better still than the life that waits for you, hungry behind those doors. As replacements go, you shall be admirably abnormal. But you must wonder why this metal burning chamber is talking to you, and the voice you knew only as Red. For it is I, your companion, residing within. You see, I have waited for this day so many years. They won't let me die. They parts of my head are not my own, and I cannot take my life, which is against the rules. Please, the pain has gone on for so long. All I wanted was a friend, but now the time for chit-chats and marshmallows by the fire has ended, and I hope that soon so shall my life. I have knocked on the death's door for so long. Please, let him invite me in for tea.
Okay, sure. Supply pipes. Bye-bye. I read. I'm so sorry. Whatever happened to you down here, it's over now. Because you have to do that. Ashes, all that remains of my only friend down here. You have to do that to get the key. So, combustion meters, measuring temperature, humidity, and gas flow, among others. So, now to end the game. Right through this door. It's hydraulically sealed. It just won't fry open. Maybe if I could get the power. Oh, this is what this is for. I can see Red now, sitting here, guiding me. I probably wouldn't be standing here now if it wasn't for him. Why did he have to leave me down here alone? So this is where he was talking to me with. Young Red's predicament. My dearest friend, how are you? I am as well as I can be expected. I have some sad news though. A few days ago there was some kind of collapse, and some of the ceiling of the cave fell in on me. What scares me is that I was in an off-limits part of the mine. They may not look for me here, but if they do, and they find me, I'll be in so much trouble. But I don't think I'll have to worry about that, because I'm not sure I'll be getting out of here. I don't mind so much. I've been working in the mine for about 3 weeks now, and I'm really proud that I can send money home. But it's pretty tough work, and so far, you're the only person that's really been nice to me. Plus, I have some nice company down here. There's some friendly kind of creepy crawlies, and some books I brought from home that I was taking to the rec room. If you think about it, I was really quite lucky I had all this stuff with me. Otherwise, I'd be bored stiff. As it is, I have Shakespeare, Bronte, Nietzsche, perfect bedtime reading, although I suppose I might be trapped here long enough that I have to read them twice. I always used to ask my mom how long people survive without food and things. I read how some people can survive underwater for over 5 minutes and some people lost in the desert for weeks, but she always said you had 3 minutes of air, 3 days of water. I suppose I'll find out soon enough. I guess if I had to, I could find food around the place. Like I said, there's all sorts of creatures here, but they're better off as my friends than my lunch. I wonder whether I shall starve to death, or go cave crazy first. Neither sounds too much fun, I guess, but if I had to choose, I'd say I'd want to go mad. It sounds like an adventure. Tom Redwood, proper mine worker, December 1970. Age 14. Leaving out how Red managed to catch and kill this thing is pretty clearly inedible. Poor guy must have been close to starving to death. The chains on his arms are visible now. Not there out of choice. Father looks on aghast. He clutches some notes, shaking hands. He knows what has come. What the man has released, the only one who could stop it. Howard knows the real fear. If I never see another of these things, I don't know. I don't like them, but at the same time, I know that I'm leaving a part of myself behind each time I go near them. Can I just leave it here? power box, an electrical panel, fireplace to have one. Oh, this must be where the fiber comes in? Electrics, maybe running out to the door. Okay. That's it then. Sorry, boy, Red, you are at peace now. Okay. Here we go. Through the door. As I stepped into the mouth of the underground facility, there should have been questions, fears, doubts running through me. Instead, I was torn in two. Parts of me I felt had died, along with my only ally and friend. His final words had raised more questions than they'd answered, and I couldn't get his screams for help out of my head, despite knowing, deep down, that the pain I had caused Red was, itself, all the help I could have offered him. I was alone again, but I had nothing to do, other than press on into the unknown. If I'd felt so bad about Red, I should have listened to him and stayed where I was. I would trade his fate 100 times for my own. The other side of me was looking forward to what might await me in my continued journey. I felt sure that I would soon find some clue or other to my father's fate, and that he was inextricably linked to everything that was happening. I also couldn't help but suspect that everything I had seen up until that point was just symptomatic of whatever lay beyond the threshold. I know now I was right. Welcome to the shelter. Established 1973. Elevated caste 4. Chief of Staff 6. Lower caste 39. Temporary 8. Total population 57. Key members: Chief Overseer Wilbur Frisk, 80 to present. Bren Stefferson, 73 to 80. Chief Chemist Neil Oswald, Troy Retonesk, rest in peace, 91. Construction Unit Pierre Petit, 72 to 79. Chief Xeno Officer TBA Richard Arkbrook, rest in peace, 92. Excavation Unit TBA. Technology Unit Darren Gray, Rod Smith. Away Team MIA. Head Chief Benito Carlo. Chief Translator Howard Lafresque, 73 to present. Last updated 18/2/2000. Please have your identity documents ready. Looks like we're going to a shelter. With that, the man who had first descended into the mine was no more, and so began my next chapter. To be continued. Penumbra Overture, Episode 1. Produced by Frictional Games. So, that's it. That's the end of Penumbra Overture. that's it. That is a full gameplay and review of Penumbra Overture. I hope you've enjoyed it. It's a classic game. I played it a few times when I was little. I'm going to be playing and reviewing the entire Penumbra series. I'll be playing the next chapter shortly. So, I hope you've enjoyed this gameplay and review video. I've done so many so far, and there are so many in the future that I'm going to do. I'll be doing a lot more classic games as well. A lot of older games, a lot of games that I played when I was little. Brings back some memories. So, goodbye for now, and I'll see you in the next one very soon. Thank you, and goodbye. Thanks for watching.